generally it is less safe than doing a left turn from a traffic light. Even if the traffic light is a yielding left turn, a lot of times the left turn from the stop sign can be far more dangerous. In fact, right over there by the gym, up there on the left there, we witnessed a pretty bad collision where a guy turned left there, and there's multiple lanes in the center turn lane, and it's just a very high risk. So again, that's why people are going in that left lane, is they're cutting through the Black Eagle Center, which they are public roads, it is legal to do, but they're setting themselves up for a possible bad scenario on the other side. I personally would take a few extra minutes, sit here and do the left turn from the traffic light, even if it's a yielding left turn. Again, that's my perception of risk based upon knowledge and experience. And a lot of people could say, well, I don't have that kind of time. Well, that's why you always leave early. You always leave early, especially this time of year. I mean, you always want to leave at least 5 minutes early. And this time of year, you want to leave 10 minutes early. You know, so you just leave early. That's it. You just build a habit of it. What one student said is, a student said that her dad told her that if you are not 10 minutes early, then you are 10 minutes late. Something like that. So if you're not early, then you're technically late. There is no on time. You're either early or you're late. And okay, I mean, you know, something like that could help. I don't know. You just don't want to drive crazy and super fast just to get to a place early. Some people get in such a habit of getting to places early that they start speeding and driving aggressively just to get to a place early, rather than say, well, I've left early, I don't need to drive this crazy, and I'll still be able to get there on time. So again, yes, it's taken a few extra minutes to do this left turn here. Well, actually, we're not turning left, we're going straight. But if we were turning left, yeah, a lot of people would say, you know, cut through that parking lot. But they're not thinking about what they ultimately have to do. A lot of drivers only think about 1 or 2 steps in advance. Maybe not even 30 seconds ahead of them. It's unfortunate. So I'm looking at this little black car on the right here. Are you going to pull out, buddy? Okay. Now I have pretty good following distance. And some people might say, well, with that much following distance, you're inviting that little black car on the right to pull out. You know, you have so much following distance that that car on the right is now tempted to pull out in front of you. So it's like, okay, that doesn't mean I'm going to tailgate. I'm not going to purposely tailgate the guy in front of me because I'm afraid a car on the right could pull out. Nope, that's not enough. That's not enough. But you got to be aware of these arguments, because you might think of them, or some other people might tell you these things. And again, there is a lot of times no foolproof strategy in driving. Situations vary, a lot of variables, other factors that change things up, but I'm not going to purposely tailgate this guy, put myself into a position of a rear-end collision, be unethical, hard braking, all that stuff, simply because the guy is turning right. So and doing my checks, path of travel, definitely important, because people could pull out of these side streets here. And again, you'll learn that one of the ways to help people see you, especially people on these side streets, is with following distance. So if I was closer to this guy in front of me, there is more likely the chance that somebody would pull out from a side street on the right and hit me, because I would start to become invisible in back of this big SUV in front of me. So we're going back to the old Upchuck. We're going to be turning right here. I'm going to go ahead and put on the signal early. Notice you can see my headlights reflecting off the back of this SUV. Now watch, I'll put on my daytime lights. See how we just disappeared? We're not as visible anymore. People can't see us as easy. They don't reflect as easy. They don't shine through bushes as easy. And that's why I'm pretty much always have my full headlights on during the day. I have no clue if they really are helping, but I know I appreciate it. So right here, I'm going to have you do a nice smooth right turn, especially if it's on green, into the second lane. You're going to go in the second lane on purpose because you're turning left here. And I don't want you to do a short, little, teeny tiny lane change back there. So again, that is against the law, but is for a good reason, to reduce stress, to make it safer. And I'll help you with these yielding left turns like I just did. Going back to old Upchuck. No rush. One of the reasons why you need to put on a signal early, and this is never talked about anywhere, but it communicates with your passenger where you want to go. So when you put on a signal early, that means I know where you want to turn, and I can start looking down that path of travel to help you out. If you put on a signal at the last second and turn left or right, I will have very little time to scan down the path of travel and see if it's even safe. In fact, I might even tell you, turn it off. We're not going to turn left here. We're going to turn left further down the road. And that's the same with mom or dad. You don't want to surprise other drivers. You certainly don't want to surprise your mom and dad by just turning left or right with very little notice, because your passengers are trying to help you drive safe, trying to be safe. And one of the ways to help you be safer in driver's training and with mom or dad is to communicate with them what you're doing. So when you're coming to a stop, early braking, that tells your mom and dad, and of course me, it tells us that you see a red light or you see a stop sign and you are testing the waters, getting prepared to stop by just gentle braking on and off. You put on an early signal that will tell us in advance where you're planning on turning, and that way we can look down the path of travel for you and see if it's a good path of travel, or maybe you shouldn't even go down that path of travel. You shouldn't even go down that road. So it's just another one of the many reasons why you need to put on a turn signal. So as you can see, the route number 2 starts off simple, couple of neighborhoods, out in the country a little bit. You're mainly focusing almost entirely on speed. When you do the lane changes, you're going to be kind of robotic. In fact, that's how it's going to be almost on all the drives. You're going to be very robotic when it comes to doing the lane changes. You might not even know what you're looking at. Now, I'll give you tips on how to assess the safety of it, because some students have said, well, I see a car in my mirror when I want to do a lane change, but I'm just not sure if it's safe. So it's like, cool, you see the car, but you're not sure if it's safe. That's where I come in. That's where your mom and dad will come in to help assess the safety issue. But if you're not doing proper checks and you can't see anybody, you're not looking to find somebody, then how can you go to the next step, which is it even safe to do so? So again, we'll talk more about that. So when you do a lane change on this drive, I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to tell you where to look, and you have to do it. I'm not going to let you do a lane change until you do the proper checks. We're building technique. You have to be patient. You're going to want to do the lane change very, very quickly and get it over with. Be patient. We're building technique here. And again, most of your lane changes are going to be pretty open, so they're not even going to be that dangerous in the first place. But for the most part, pretty much the number one thing on this drive is speed control, one of the foundations. We might work a little bit on following distance. We're definitely going to talk about lane position, so we might have you in a certain lane position. Let me think what else. Turn signals, obviously, pulling off to this side of the road. And remember I want you to memorize when you are legally required to use the turn signal and how to calculate your following distance. Those are two things. They're very easy. They're in the driver's manual online, lots of videos on it, but those are the two big things that you need to know how to do by the second drive. Okay, I could keep talking for another hour, but that concludes the second drive. Depending on your skill level, we might do a little bit more, like in those neighborhoods. We might do a few more laps around the neighborhoods. So but that's generally the route that we take. And as you can see, it's just a nice, comfortable drive. So don't get too stressed out about it, even though you're going to be on public roads. And always just keep in mind that I don't have a gas pedal. So if you go too fast, I can slow you down. I have a brake and I can steer, but I cannot speed you up. And the reason why I'm stressing that so much is it's been a big cause of stress in the driver's training cars lately. This past year, I've had a lot of students who are really struggling with accelerating. Speed control is one thing, you know, keeping a consistent speed. That's tough. What I'm talking about is accelerating and getting up to speed. A lot of times that has been a big cause of stress in driver's training. So don't worry about that too much. You give it too much gas, I'll tell you to slow it down a little, take your foot off the gas, and if we don't slow down enough, I might even hit the brake. In fact, I might hit the brake and you don't even know it. So anyways, so whatever stress you're feeling of the second drive, I mean, it's perfectly natural, but the second drive is actually a fairly easy drive, and you can kind of practice it on your own if you want, or not practice it on your own, but observe. So if you really want to know the route pretty good, just have mom or dad drive you around pretty much the same route, going south of town, Amity, Victory, Lake Hazel, work your way all the way to Overland. You don't have to go down Eagle Road to hit Overland and then come back. You can go a different route. So it's just kind of a zigzag through the country. Mom or dad can take you on that drive, and then you can kind of see firsthand. That will really reduce a lot of nervousness. But I would say you probably don't need to do that. You know, just watching this video will definitely help. And but if you watch this video and you still feel extremely nervous, then ask mom or dad to kind of take you on this route, and then you can firsthand see it rather than on a video. So anyways, I don't think I'm going to do this for the third drive. It's usually the second drive that students are most uncomfortable with. Once you do this second drive, usually the other drives are not that big a deal. In fact, the third drive is way easier than this drive. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the car. Bye.